So I'm ready to clean up this raised bed now and get it prepped for the fall garden. I do see that everything is so nice and green and looks very lush and beautiful, but there are spots that I can use once I clean up this raised bed. There are plants that I can remove or tie them together, or give them a structure or a trellis to support them to stand upright. And I'll keep continuing the video to show as and how I clean it up. The main plants that I am clearing in this raised bed, again, though it's looking nice and beautiful, is there are certain plants like this Malabar cucumber that grew on their own in this raised bed, and I didn't let the plant survive for the fruit, but I did let it survive, so it will act as a natural ground cover in this raised bed, because I didn't have enough mulch in hand back then, 2 months back. So I let this plant sprawl all along the raised bed at the base. Once the other plants picked up, that is when I let the sprawl, that is when I let a plant grow to use it as a ground cover. So this is my time to get rid of all of these plants. It doesn't look like a lot, but I did clean up a lot of the plants and have put them in there. But as I'm cleaning up, I also saw that I have so many new plants that are sprouting, like the Crosandra right there, which is not usually the season, but maybe because of all the warmth it has right here, maybe that's why they're sprouting, and I would like to give them a chance to see how they'll do. I'm sure that they won't survive the winter, but with the amount of growth and the warmth around the plant here, they may survive. So what I'm planning to do is I want to bring in the compost and fill it at the edges of the raised bed, because that's where the soil shrunk down a lot, and usually the soil seeps down and the water in the soil usually comes down through that. So I want to go ahead and fill up the edge of the raised beds first, and I'll take it from there and see how we can go by it. There I go. Finally collected most of the very soggy compost. It was really hard, and tried to line up the edges of the bed. So it's about 4 inches, but it's only on the lining of the bed that I wanted to do. I'll eventually let the soil soak in with the rains, and however the temperature goes by, the edges of the bed are done, and that gives me a very good, because earlier, like you see, the soil was very loose right here. Now that there is compost in here, which is really thick in texture, I hope all this will seep down and settle in and gives a very good layer to the edging of the bed. So that's going to help a bit. And with the inside of the bed, with the rest of the middle of the bed that I have to fill, I'll eventually go ahead, once the little plants that are just sprouting get to about 5 to 6 inches tall, maybe then I'll go ahead and line up, or maybe within a few days I'll just see how it goes by, how the rest of the soil settles in, the edge of the bed settles in, and I'll go ahead and fill up the rest of the raised bed. And it is really getting hard to collect that compost from there. Let me show you. From this bin, I mean to say. So I'm going to go ahead and collect it into smaller pots that way, and I'll go ahead and keep those smaller pots in the raised beds along the plants that I have. That way, whatever nutrition or the liquids that seep out of this compost will be given to the plants, versus just laying those pots right on the dirt, which is not very helpful, because we need that liquid fertilizer too. It's rainwater and compost, so it's great. So I'll collect it into 5-gallon pots, or maybe 3-gallon pots, and place them next to the whatever plants that pick up here, and whatever empty spots I have, I'll place them here, so it keeps adding that value and nutrition to this soil. And that's what I'm going to do with the rest of the really soaked in compost. We can just keep thinking of ideas on what we can do, how to do, how to use. It's definitely not going to go to waste. It is going to take a lot of time to do that, but it is still great soil. It is something that we have generated in our own garden, and it's still such a good feeling to be able to work in the garden on some or the other activities.